again, she had a match with Willow Nightingale actually, who's like, I don't know if you know her, but she's like super fun.
That's so
Um,
familiar.
she's like a kind of she's kind of like a big, kind of like broad shouldered, wide hip black woman, and like she's
That's so
chanted,
familiar.
she has fun. She's like a very positive, like plucky character. I love her. I think she's fantastic.
That's a thing that's like, it's very cool that like large people, like it's not even large people, large women can be our faces, because that was that
Oh, no.
was that was like not a thing. Like
Well,
when
Nyla
we were,
Rose is definitely like always a heel now, except for on Twitter.
well, that's fine. Like, yeah, she can be a heel, but I mean, you know who I'm thinking of is like, I'm thinking of like WWE Hall of Famer Bull Nakano.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's because she put on that weight specifically to be a heel,
Yeah.
and you know, and so that's because she's like, oh, I'm bad now, so I have to put on like 100 pounds, and she looked good. She looked good back then. She looked good now at 50.
Those matches with Hokuto, oh my god, dude.
Oh my god, dude, that thing I showed you today, I was like, wow. Like, those are just legit drop kicks to the face. And I'm just like, how are you taking this?
Yeah.
I said Japan, dude. It's crazy. And I wonder, like, well, Bull Nakano, if I had 2 minutes to ask her a question, the thing I would ask her is, oh, I don't recognize her at all.
She's been around for a couple of years.
I need to get into this though. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this look.
Yeah, she was the strong women's champion.
She's a
for
hottie
while.
McHottie.
Huh?
She's a hottie.
Oh yeah, and she's like super cool. She's super fun. She's tagging with Chris Statlander right now.
Yeah, I know
And
who that is.
they're
Okay.
doing a stable, like it's them two, and they're being managed by Stokely Hathaway,
Yeah.
who's like, you know, they're both these sort of like positive, kind of wacky, like kind of quirked up chicks, and like Stokely's like the scammer, you know what I mean, like the scammer friend.
Yeah, yeah. That's
It's a
so
funny
funny
dynamic.
that, like, again, you can be big and black and be a face as a woman is a thing.
was a good man.
Like, that was not a thing. Not even that long ago.
Yeah,
Like,
Toni
you just
Storm,
had to
like,
be like Awesome Kong. Like, that's who you had to be.
who was fucking dope at her job.
Oh
by
my
the
gosh,
way.
she's
I
so
fucking
cool,
love
dude.
her.
I would love to hang out with her. She's so cool. And just ask her
Funny.
about just beating the brakes off of Bubba the Love Sponge
Yeah,
in the locker
the
room.
best fucking power bomb. Remember when she used to?
Oh
do
yeah.
that? It was,
Oh. You know who they sleeping on though? Who they sleeping on is Victoria. I met Victoria once in Pensacola. Like, she was just going to a show. Yeah, say what?
is she still working?
I don't think so. But like, she was like straight up my favorite wrestler for like a hot minute. Like, male, female, whatever. Like, the Widow's Peak was
Actually able
disgusting.
to wrestle in a period where like women in wrestling were like, you know, like it was a lot more models type.
Yeah,
Rest-
absolutely. Divas.
you know,
It was the
the women-
Divas gen. Yeah.
It was a diva era,
Mhm.
and she did. I thought like she did her best to be like totally, you know, clear about it, but like, you know, she was one of her and like Molly Holly were
Oh,
like the
God.
workers.
Nora
And then, like,
Greenwald.
Trish Stratus, who like basically she made the transition from model to worker, and she actually did a pretty goddamn good job of that.
Mhm.
But like, you know,
Brother, let me tell you, lose my train of thought. Like, back in the 2000s, in the early aughts, when Molly Holly was even, they were pushing her in the most, not even pushing her. She was in the dumbest gimmicks. She was in like Right to
she's got a
Censor.
big ass or whatever.
Yeah. Bruh, let me tell you, when I was in the Marine Corps, I'm about to say something real racist. when I was in the Marine Corps, and like, you didn't have cable in the barracks, so like, it was just like they had a common room, like a lounge, and just had a TV with cable, because nobody wanted to pay for cable. So it was like, oh, we're all gonna watch wrestling. That was decided. Monday night, Monday Night Raw was the hottest thing on the planet, bruh. When Molly Holly used to come out, the black dudes would be like, all of us would be like, yo, Molly Holly's on. And you see dudes just come running from the laundry room, running from down the hall. They'd be like, they were just like, yo, what it do? Shit, I was one of them. But Yeah, that
Tony
was a
Storm,
thing.
by the way, is actually doing like a crazy gimmick now. She's
Nose
doing
itches.
like a she's basically doing Sunset. You ever see Sunset Boulevard like with the
Yeah.
crazy
Mm-hmm.
up like star or
Yeah.
whatever? Who's like, I'm ready for my close up. It's like she's basically just doing that character now,
That's awesome.
and it's very funny. I love Tony Storm. Right now, like I said, she's doing that gimmick. This is when she did like this was I want to say it's Stardom. Yeah, it's Stardom. She did this entrance. Watch this.
All right. But she Taz?
No, she's Minoru Suzuki.
Oh.
She's in Japan, and she's. I mean, like
The Disney princesses and the Doraemon dolls. Yeah. Oh, that's that Bull Nakano. Just ripping off Bull Nakano's gimmick. Brother, that's some DDT wrestling right there. That's some what's his face? What's his face wrestling a blow up doll?
as far as that was
The guy Cornette hates. Oh my goodness,
Ibushi.
dude. Omega.
no, it was Ibushi wrestled the blow up doll.
No, that was Kenny Omega.
Maybe they both did.
Maybe they both did, but yeah, your boy Cornette, he lost his mind. He's
Yeah.
like, I can't believe they put on the title on the
You know
guy.
what it was?
Shut up.
You know what it was? Kenny Omega. He wrestled a little girl one time.
That's
and
it. But he
thing
did do the
that-
blow up doll thing too.
The thing that because Cornette's a weirdo freak. Like he's like, oh, this is like Kenny being a pedophile or whatever. And it's
Oh
like,
come on, dude.
dude.
Cornette is such a lib, man. Like
he is a super lib, bro.
oh, he's the worst.
Hey, like he's just like super Biden pilled. It's so annoying, man.
Oh my god, dude, it's so terrible. You know what? But I was gonna say, and this kind of feeds into it. Is that I wonder, like, if I had 2 minutes to ask Bull Nakano a question, I would say, do you think like your career is like a chicken and the egg? And what I mean by like what came first, the chicken and the egg? Because I feel like if 20-year-old Bull Nakano was active right now, she would be super over.
Yeah.
But did 50-year-old Bull Nakano make the way so 20-year-old Bull Nakano in this dream scenario would be over now?
Yeah.
Because like there was definitely I remember being a little boy watching watching Raw, and they had like, oh, we're gonna have Alundra Blaze, which I didn't care anything about, versus Bull Nakano for the WWF title, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And then watching it, just like, oh my god, what am I seeing? Like this is insane. Like this is the best. Like that was the best match on the card that night.
Because they had to work for it. I mean, like Medusa, if she's not a Hall of Famer, that would be absolutely insane. Like, she's got to be, right?
Oh yeah, she is. When in her speech, she in her speech she spoke in Japanese like the second half of her speech and just shouted out like NJPW.
Cool.
Yeah, and like
you know what's kind of weird though? Like every year, like last year, they like had Muta go in to the Hall of Fame for WWE.
Yeah,
and they like made it a thing like, oh, Asuka's like a big fan of the Great Muta or whatever, and like that's cool. And then now they're putting Bull Nakano in, and they're like, oh, Asuka's a big fan of like Bull Nakano, and they're just like always just dialing her up.
I know what you're saying, and usually it's like, hey, there's got to be how many Japanese people are on the roster? Like, call Tajiri up, like whatever. But it's like,
dude, they got a whole stable of like mostly Japanese women now. I mean,
but
like, they have her,
Kairi Sane.
The women's champion for SmackDown is Io Sky, formerly known as Io Shirai from Stardom. She's got like, he's awesome, bro.
Joshi has made it, dude.
And Kairi Sane.
Yeah.
Also Kairi Hojo, like she's now in like this stable with them and Dakota Kai. That's like that's a main event angle actually, because they're feuding with Bayley. And that's gonna be Io versus Bayley for the women's championship, and that's gonna be a fucking banger of a match.
I know that Joshi women's pro wrestling even, had been red super hot, right? Like, and Bull Nakano that, she had her matches with Alundra Blaze, and that one of the only cool things that Vince ever did was like allow the strap to be dropped in the Tokyo Dome. So it brought like it put Nakano over, it put New Japan over, it really put the WWF over at the time. And I just like again, if I know that Japanese women's wrestling was a thing before Bull Nakano, but I feel like she was the first one to like dump Matsumoto and the women who came before her, but I feel like she was the first one to like break through. And I feel like she's kind of like the tree of like women's wrestling even in the US. When you look at somebody like Bayley, when you look at like body types, when you look at styles, like she is patient zero. When I just watch her wrestle, it's crazy, like how violent her matches were. It's just like I'm just like, oh my god.
Oh, they would do death matches like in
how are you living?
Like stuck pigs. It's awesome.
So wild, dude. Yeah,
like they're maniacs. They were maniacs back in those days.
Yeah, she's just so it's just such good work. And it's just I'm glad that we are.
It's like they look fairly stiff.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that we're benefiting from all that. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So the thing about Asuka, I know what you're saying. Like, who's on the roster? Get the Japanese girl, like whatever. But in this case, I think it's warranted because she is the love child of like she is the Poison Mist. Like she is the love child of Muta and Nakano.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Super clunky, if you know what I mean, is all I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a little bit awkward, just the way that they're trying to do it. Like they're trying to be like kind of exploitative about it. But like,
for sure.
If you know anything about Asuka, actually, too, she's actually not that Asuka. That's a different Asuka.
Yeah, it's a different Asuka.
Who also goes by the name of Asuka, but she was actually known as Kana in Japan. But the one that we know as Asuka, her name is actually Asuka in America. But anyway, the thing about her is that she she was like anti-Joshi for a while. She was like she had a whole manifesto that she wrote when she like booked it out of Japan, saying like this is what's fucked up. There's a lot of like models and stuff in here, or like idols rather.
Yeah,
idol culture wrapped into it, and she's like, this ain't wrestling. This is bullshit. And like she just dipped.
No, but she's right because the whole system of like junior, senior, and like all that. I understand like you ribs, like you got to carry my bags or whatever. Like I'd be more than happy to do that kind of stuff. But then like the respect didn't go both ways, and it's a very cultural thing where like you're trying to work and make a living, but like you're constantly being hazed all the time. It is bullshit, and like hopefully it does change. I probably won't because it's just so culturally ingrained, but. I mean, she was right in that, and I remember a couple years ago, she was in an interview, and somebody asked her, "Oh, do you want to go back to Japan?" And she's like, "For what?" She said, "For what? To go tear my body up? I can just be over here and just work once or twice a week, and make more money than I'd ever make." She's like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah, and anytime she wants to dial up a just like stiff looking match with American American other American wrestlers, they're all going to be down. Oh yeah, there's another legend right there.
Oh yeah, Asha Kong.
I didn't even realize she was in this match.
Yeah, but Asha, that's how old. No. But that's how old like Bull Nakano is. Asha Kong was her junior.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to think about because I think of Aja Kong as like the grand old lady of wrestling of pro wrestling period. But like I think of her when I think about like Moolah and stuff like that. But I'm like no, like
except with a lot less human trafficking.
Of course, but you know what I'm saying. But like Bull Nakano was doing it before she was, which is wild.
And by the way, I mean, you see them like smacking the shit out of each other and doing all this stuff. And oh, look at it's Nyla Rose.
Hell yeah, Nyla Rose is cool.
Fucking Cornette. That's Miyu. Can't remember her last name, but she's strong as fuck. You saw that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's helping her, but still, like, obviously she's gonna help her. Yeah,
like how Cesaro does the big swing, she does the big swing too, and she does it like just as
Crazy.
good as he does. Like um, Miyu was fucking dope.
One of the best matches I've ever
Dope
seen was
powerhouse.
on
Goddamn, Nyla.
was on
Mio Watanabe, that's her name.
one of the best matches I've ever seen was, okay, these kicks are awful. Was Cody Rhodes versus who's the other trans lady that used that? She's not in AEW anymore.
Nyla Rose.
No, not Nyla Rose. I can only think of her moniker. Oh, the Concrete Rose. Blah blah blah.
Wait, there was another trans wrestler.
Absolutely. Do I have to Google this? Let's see.
I thought
Concrete
it was just Nyla Rose.
Rose. Sunny Kiss.
Oh! I think they're not.
Sunny Kiss might be NB. I don't think they're trans. I think they're in. Yeah, Sunny Kiss identifies as gender fluid. Okay, and uses she/her pronouns. Cool, whatever. But I saw it wasn't AEW Dark, but it was. What's that?
I think Sunny's like friends with Kenny or something.
But I saw Cody Rhodes wrestle her, and like it was one of the COVID matches, and like no fans or whatever. And I've never seen somebody get like lose stronger than Sunny Kiss did, because it's like it was Cody understood the assignment. Like he was like I have to make this person a threat. Yeah. And it was one of those things where like Cody's like about to die, he's like puking in the ring, and he finally pins her, and he just looks at the camera and just shakes his head like, what just happened? Yeah, and I was like, yeah. That's how you lose strong.
Yeah. They're actually no, she wasn't the women's champion. And actually I think it's what's her name? But TNA has a trans woman that's a high level like main eventer, or at least like a top level contender for the women's champion. I think she had like essentially the equivalent of the Money in the Bank for a little while. What's her name? Oh my god! So and she came up like not that long ago because at a WrestleMania, like one of the side events, I think it was Starcast or something like that.
Who is this woman? Her fit is so 90s. I'm like, is this the daughter of Lita? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, that is like very Lita.
Oh, Twist of Fate.
Maybe she's trying to do a gimmick.
That's so funny. But yeah, who said Sunny Kiss? Did they say something? No, I forgot. Oh, my other non-binary royalty king queen is I really like Maxine Paler.
Who?
Real good. Maxine Paler.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Whoa. Just scary. That's a scary human. Boop. Oh, she just set up, no sold it? Yeah.
That's Maki Ito. She's going to be a big star.
Yeah.
You know her.
Oh. She almost didn't make it there.
What's her name?
I don't know.
Giselle Shaw. She's a trans woman that's in TNA.
And, never seen.
Starcast last year. Rick Steiner.
I'm sorry. I did watch this.
Okay. No, Ito's fucking awesome, bro. But Rick Steiner, just started being like a fucking dickhead and was like, "Oh, you're a man" or whatever,
God.
capping it, and he ended up getting kicked out. And his son Braun Breaker, who's on the rise in WWE right now.
That's a great name.
Yeah, Braun Breaker. He's got a good spear. He's got he runs the ropes like a madman. But he put out a statement saying essentially distancing himself from his own father.
Good.
Which
he kind of I just Googled him. He reminds me of Wardlow a lot. He looked in his look anyway. He looks like Wardlow.
Wardlow's got a title match tonight
nice.
on AEW.
Why are they feeding? I don't know, it changed, but it's before it pops out of my head because I don't watch wrestling anymore. I mean, I can't tell you I only go to live events. I watch wrestling on TV. I don't keep up with it. Why are they feeding my boy Sami Zayn to the Nazi? To Gunther? Why are they doing that? Like what? What?
Because it'll be a good match. Like,
I mean, it will be a good match, but it's like, come on, bro.
The gimmick sucks, but like Walter is a freaking great.
No, I don't mind the gimmick. I like the Imperium. I like it.
Nazi?
I mean, that's what they're implying. That's what the Imperium is. I mean, they're fascists. They're implying that with everything they do, and I like it. It's cool. But yeah, like,
why? Work. I mean, like that's stuff. I mean, that's really all they care about in WWE.
Yeah,
and they're gonna be, controversial about it. And it's like vague enough. Like, they don't usually use symbolism really that much. It's like more of like they don't have like swastikas or anything equivalent to a swastika. They have like ancient Roman columns or something.
Yeah,
behind
but they're obviously the evil foreigners. But
yeah,
and I love a good evil foreigner.
It's Nazi. It's like fascist adjacent.
Yeah,
and it's
sure.
Blurry enough that I think they can be like, no, man, that's just like.
Oh, of course.
What Germans are like, or
exactly. Austrians. But the match to me, I don't know, because as maybe you can tell me, that was a legit question, because I don't know if there's a good build up or what, because I'm just like, okay, so Gunther's like the hottest guy in the company, so he's not going to go like Sami Zayn's not going to go over, and it's just going to be he's just going to beat Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. I just don't see that. That's not going to do anything for anybody.
I mean, if it's a great match, I think that's what they really want it to be. So like, WWE actually cares about work right now, which is cool.
Okay.
And I think it will be a good match. It's like Triple H is a Meltzer reader. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
he totally
he's nerd like that. Like Vince didn't give a fuck.
No.
Like, and like you can definitely and I'm not like one of those like Triple H like, oh wow, he's the best thing. Yeah, I'll just go backbreaker.
Vince didn't care unless he felt he was behind. Yeah, that was really good.
Like,
Vince didn't,
fuck, dude.
Absolutely, they all are.
Miyu specifically is like super fucking strong.
Vince didn't care unless he thought he was behind, and that goes right back to Bull Nakano, because he's like, okay, I'm gonna force women's wrestling down the Americans' gullet because there's money to be made, and we're leaving money on the table, letting New Japan. That was sick. Letting New Japan and Joshi wrestling run wild.
Yeah. Oh man.
Or it's like, or Vince is like, oh, we're down in the ratings because of the NWO, so we're gonna do something. But as long as the WWE feels like they're on top, it's like then they never. Oh, I mean that was nothing, but it was cool.
It's the Whirling Candy.
Oh, I've never seen that. I don't know. I don't know. Every one of these women look like I've seen them in AEW. I don't know.
Not none of these. I don't think.
No, it's Maka Ito. What I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of.
Rika Sakazaki. She's the one that. Not Rika Sakazaki. I'm thinking of
the
Mad Girl. Yeah.
Oh,
Yuka Sakazaki. I got it wrong. Rika Tatsumi is who I was thinking.
And you are versed on the Perso.
I watch a little Joshi, man. They actually shout out to at DJ Ansi, DJ_ANSI. He runs a lot of Joshi on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's super fun to watch. I've been subbed to him like 4 years, and like I don't know, it's just like a good like hang for if you just want to watch either Joshi or like AAA or CMLL, like a lot of like either Japanese wrestling or Joshi. Like that's your guy.
Also, for free, there's a 24-hour AAA channel and
oh yeah, on YouTube, right?
Nah, on that Pluto TV.
Oh really?
Yeah, 24-hour AAA and 24-hour Impact.
You saw that fucking?
That's crazy, dude. It's so stiff. I don't understand why they're like. I mean, they're like, you know what? We're gonna do drop kicks, and they're gonna be real.
With the tail just now, her gimmick is that she's a kaiju, and she's like,
that's awesome.
4'10".
That's so cool. Have you seen the Phoenix? Nor Phoenix. She is the Malaysian. Ooh, it's the Heart Punch. She is in the Malaysian wrestling scene, and she wrestles in like a hijab. It's really cool. She's cool. She's having some match in Australia against somebody from TNA, not TNA, but AEW, and like they're repping it.
Oh, Famouser by Camille.
Rocker dropper.
Yeah, that was a Famouser.
I don't know. What's the difference?
Similar moves. Dude, her legs are so fucking long.
God, they're so small.
I think Yuki Kamifuku, aka Camille, the one that with the like high leg boot or whatever. She's like 5'10".
There is a Joshi documentary from the 80s. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about a girl trying to like she's trying to wrestle, and like Bull Nakano's in it, and Bull Nakano's just like she's like, are you, it's just like how brutal the training is. It's just like, you can leave if you're gonna like,
yeah,
if you're not trying to kick through a woman's chest,
yeah,
then this isn't for you. And I'm just like, this is insane. Good lord.
They go hard, man.
Yeah,
Look,
they go super hard.
fucking
Hard as any like actual like any pro athlete, harder than any pro athlete. I think it's because they have they have so like, especially again Japan, it's cultural, and then being a quote unquote fake sport, they have so much to prove.
Well, and plus the like, because they have so much to prove, and like they literally, even in America, like the idea, or at least the old school idea, was like in order for somebody to prove that they could be a part of wrestling or whatever, like they had to be broken down all the way down,
get beat up.
Real. Like literally just beat the shit out of them, like thousands of back bumps, thousands of like shots to the face, thousands of like just over and over again, like getting rash on your underarm from running the rope and stuff. It's nuts.
It's so nuts.
And in WWE specifically, they literally just use like rope. It's not like a cable with a hose over it.
Not at all. And that mat is so stiff. It's ridiculous.
Ooh, good night.
Jesus. Whoop, suicida.
Dragon whip.
Cool.
Right.
Good stuff.
I guess we're going to have to start the show at some point.
At some point.
All right, well, I'm going to go to that thing.
All right, go ahead.
Let me see if I can put another clip on.
Whoa! Put that thing on and put the subtitles on with Al Snow talking about somebody's gonna die at an AEW ring.
I missed
that.
it.
Just go back. Go back to the.
It was
hit back. Yeah, hit back. It should still be there. Hit back again.
Like
there you go. Top middle, right there. Al Snow. You don't see
Brand.com, where the pros are.
Is that it?
This is it.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Are the pros.
Vince Russo.
This is another AEW gem. Watch the level of stupidity with this. Again, now remember, wait, hold on. I got to preface this. Again, remember, the two of them had this conversation prior to going to the ring. And the only way this is happening is the guy that it's being done to went, hey, bro, that sounds like a really good idea. I think that's cool as shit. Why don't we do it? Notice, he had a choice. He could have went, you know what? I'm sorry, but you're really out of your fucking mind if you think I'm going to go along with this and take this potential risk of ending up in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. Instead, he goes, hey, what's the worst that could happen? Well, let's watch.
Jeff, this may be, I can't tell, this may be Ospreay. This may be the match that Meltzer was talking about yesterday.
Pretty sure it is.
Yeah, this may be the Meltzer said.
Let me tell you something. If this had happened at Kirk Hall, it's at least a 5-star.
Well, yeah. Okay, this is the match that Meltzer was talking about.
Is it?
Jesus, that is stupid. I thought we were gonna hear old men yell at Cloud. No, that was dumb. Come on.
I guess you're not familiar with Will Ospreay because he does.
I am familiar with Will Ospreay, but not. I mean, his stuff at like they said Corrigan Hall and all that. But I'm familiar with his work. And
crazy shit like all
that's stupid, dude. Come on.
They did a Tiger Driver '91 as well. And,
come on, dude.
God, they meant to do that, Al. They meant.
Of course they did.
How
Hey,
fucking funny is it that Vince Russo has a YouTube channel now? Of course he does, right?
Of course he does.
Everybody's got a YouTube. Stevie Richards has a YouTube channel.
Oh, I've watched
Like,
that a
all
bunch of
these
times.
motherfuckers have YouTube channels now. Like Jim Cornette, obviously we mentioned him earlier. Conrad from like the he does like podcasts with everybody he can just like hammer down. Like he still does a fucking podcast with the criminal Bruce Pritchard.
I really don't hate Russo that much. He's annoying, but like the whole thing about him killing the business, like, come on, bro. Like, I just said, come on, bro, talking about Russo, but like, he was ahead of the curve.
Business. You know what killed the business?
Yeah,
It was that bald son of a bitch, Hulk Hogan.
I mean, he tried some stuff. A lot of it worked, but the stuff that didn't, it popped up as didn't work. You know,
the problem was that like he didn't know how to book a whole show. He just like the lower card. He would always like, okay, you need a gimmick. Like you cannot just be a wrestler wrestling another wrestler. You need to be some which is like not even that different from like Vince's thing from the new generation. Is like, you know what? You're TL Hopper. You're a plumber now. You know, like that kind of shit.
I just think about Rey Mysterio coming out in WCW with a bunch of question marks on it. That shit was so whack. Like, oh, Mysterio.
Let's get back to it.
I might be right back. Like 2 seconds.
This, by the way, this AEW pay-per-view, the one like, oh, you'll be right back. All right, I'll start the video.
Let me tell you something. If this had happened at Korakuen Hall, it's at least a 5-star.
Well, yeah. Okay, this is the match that Meltzer was talking about.
Hey, what's the worst that could happen? Well, let's watch.
Jeff, this may be, I can't tell, this may be Osprey. This may be the match that Meltzer was talking about yesterday.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, this may be the Meltzer said.
Let me tell you something. If this had happened at Korakuen Hall, it's at least a 5-star.
Well, yeah. Okay, this is the match that Meltzer was talking about.
Is it?
If this match was in Korakuen Hall, it would be 5 stars, bro.
All right, I'm back.
It would be 5 stars, bro.
5 stars at Korakuen Hall, bro.
Oh man,
we should do it. I know everybody's done a wrestling podcast, but that would get me to watch wrestling again. We should do we should do a wrestling pod.
Shout out to Austin G, who's a homie. I was actually talking to him not too long ago about doing just that. So maybe we should.
Yeah, it would get me to watch it again because I want to watch it, but I feel like I have no reason to.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, AEW is started now, by the way.
I'm not watching it tonight.
We're never going to do a show tonight. Maybe we'll have to do it on like Friday or something.
I know. I'm going to play Helldivers after this.
Yeah. But they had a great AEW show on. Like, you remember when I was like last time? I was like, man, AEW's dying or whatever. Like the show that they did last week was so good. And it was like Sting's last match and shit. Yeah. And like, did you see the video of Darby Allin like jumping through the fucking, like off the ladder? Well, have you seen it?
No.
Okay, hold on.
I has not.
Let me show you. It's a stunt. Like, it's a total stunt.
All right.
Let's find it. All right. There it is.
Terrible. I mean, that would be terrible. That's what they want.
Jesus, rewind that? I missed it. I was trying to move it to my main monitor.
Terrible. That's what they want.
It's obviously sugar glass, but I'm not doing that.
It looks like tempered glass to me.
Why is he bleeding?
It cuts. He's cut.
Why are you using real glass? Why are you using sugar glass?
Bro, because it's Darby Allin and he's insane.
That's so stupid, dude. I love him. He's like one of my favorite guys because I don't know where my thing with him, I don't know where the gimmick ends and he begins, and that's like
he's just a crazy motherfucker, and like his entire gimmick is that he's insane and does insane shit. It's great. I love it. Let's watch it one more time.
And was this all out or whatever? It's a pay-per-view?
This was Revolution. This was the one I was thinking about going to.
It's not on TBS, right?
No, this is on.
I'm about to say, God,
this is
dog,
Revolution. It was like
trying to get canceled.
like 2 weeks ago
All right.
in Greensboro, North Carolina. And like the whole reason for this show, like this is the main event.
Christ.
Darby's tag team partner is Sting against the Young Bucks, and this is Sting's last match ever. And the one thing about this is like he's kind of showing Sting up. This match was also crazy too, by the way, because like when Sting came out. Like first off, it was his two sons came with him. One of them was like Great American Bash 1993 or whatever, Sting with the American flag paint. Then like his other son comes out and he's like red Wolfpack Sting, and he's like, and then actual Sting comes out, and like literally it was just the good guys beating up the bad guys 4-on-2 for like 10 minutes, which is awesome. I love that.
Kenny Omega should have come out dressed like RoboCop.
Kenny Omega's out because he has diverticulitis.
Yeah, but they should somehow they should have worked RoboCop into that.
That would have been awesome. Oh my god!
Oh my god, it's RoboCop.
That's a way better callback to like the nostalgia. Like, you remember when WWE like decided like, hey, you know what we're gonna do for the Sting match? We're gonna bring out Hulk Hogan and fucking Kevin Nash to help Sting.
God,
people that were his mortal enemy when they were wrestling.
And how does he not go over?
DX or whatever. Like, it was dumb. Yeah.
How does he not go over against Triple H? Like, Triple H has something to lose here. Like, just Paul, just lay down.
Yeah. Here goes Darby again.
Terrible. Well, that's what they want. Perilously hot. Darby!
Oh my God! I'm more concerned about him just hitting the concrete.
Yeah, no, totally. The glass.
What on earth? That's insane.
Terrible. I mean, that.
But play it again. Yeah. Play it one more time.
One more time?
One more time.
Terrible. Well, that's what they want. Perilously hot.
Good God Almighty! What have we seen? And like, unfortunately, like young JR, who is on the call here, would have like went crazy for this, and like now he's just like, well, good. Look at that. That was irresponsible.
That's irresponsible.
Like old JR would have been like, good God Almighty, King, he's been broken in half.
Yeah, I mean, I that's not fun to watch. Like that's no.
Oh, that match was so fucking fun.
No, I mean just that spot. Like I'm not a fan of that. Like I'm a fan of like I can think of like okay if you're gonna do like the blood and guts match where
oh, those are fun.
Yeah, where like Kingston looked like a zombie and he was gonna burn.
Yeah, he had a bottle like a thing of gasoline.
That was so cool. And I could enjoy it because I knew that like nobody had a potential of dying.
Oh, here's another angle, huh?
Please. Oh,
this is like a way. Oh man.
Oh
way better angle.
No. This shows you just how stupid this is.
Cameraman right here. That's the worst angle.
No.
Actually, you can't see how high he is.
Yeah, it is.
You're looking up at him here from the crowd. You can actually see that this motherfucker is like 15 feet in the air.
They're trying to hold the ladder.
I love it when you have like person who's recording it, like you could hear their voice in it too.
Let's see what we do.
Oh my God.
No.
But the referee's holding.
Oh, that's so awesome, holding the ladder.
Angle because you can't see the referees holding the ladder. Like that's funny.
That is very funny.
Because they don't want it to fall, obviously.
I mean, like, you could also like
the business, King.
But no, because if that got like out or whatever, it'd be like, oh, look how corny this is. Well, like okay, in kayfabe land, you'd say, well, he's already up there. What are they gonna do? They just like try to keep him as safe as possible. What are they gonna do? Tell him to come down like he's a cat off the roof?
Yeah.
Like
I don't understand what he's doing here. Because like he's by the stairs, right? He's getting up.
That is the dumbest shit to see live.
He's like,
the guy just laced.
He's getting up. He's moving towards the glass. He's supposed to be like he's laying on the glass.
Yeah, what is he doing?
Oh no! Oh no! What do I do?
Is that gonna fall? That's so Why do that? Why do that? That is so dumb.
Like, oh no, I'm moving towards the glass and he's gonna jump on me.
Oh no.
Like, the only way that makes sense is if you like baited him, you know, if you like
Yeah.
baited his fucking thing. But nah, I mean that's
Oh
that's something.
no.
Anyway.
Oh my
Man.
gosh.
Who's mad about it? Mike Sanchez? I don't know who Mike Sanchez is.
I'm not mad about it. It's his life. I'm not mad. I'm just
That
saying.
stupid motherfucker, Darby Allin.
Yeah. I mean, at least it was a pay-per-view. At least it wasn't a random Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Which I can't stand that when it's just like, yeah, just do a It's a Thursday night and we're at the Oklahoma Cow Palace. And we're going to do blood and guts and somebody's going to get thrown off the roof through a semi-truck. And it's like, what? No. Why are we doing that? Why are we giving this shit away for free? Stop. You know, and it's just going to do, you know, when you start doing that kind of bullshit, it just devolves into 2 men in a cage, 2 guns. Who leaves? It's like, because there's nothing else we can do except have 2 people shoot each other at point blank range.
That, by the way.
Because we've given everything else away.
Two guys with a gun in the last night standing.
Jesus. Gun on a Vince Russo 9 mil on a pole match.
No, it's got to be like a stupid gun, like a blunderbuss.
No, how Vince Russo would do it, there would be a 9 mil on a pole, and then on one side, right, and then on one ring post, right.
Like gun cases.
No. I got it already. You don't even need to. I got this. I'm booking this right now. So you got the 9 mil on one pole, right? That comes from one corner of the ring. In the other 3 corners, there's a single mag, in like on a pole, and only one magazine has 1 round in it.
What did you miss?
So you got to get the gun, and you got to get the right mag.
It's like if you miss, is the match over? Is it a draw?
I don't know. You got to fight. You got to bludgeon him to death with the gun.
You gotta pistol whip him until he's
Fucking
dead.
stupid.
What about a flamethrower? Why not a flamethrower?
No, then you're worried about, you know, the crowd. Napalm gets on a
Make
kid.
them sign a waiver. Make them sign a waiver. They'll sign it. It'll hold up in court.
Special guest referee for the 9 mil on a pole, Nora Greenwald, Molly Holly. Let's go. Oh, Wildcat is flying in.
This is an exploding barbed wire.
Oh no, I don't want to hear.
Yeah, what's stupid? Wildcat is flying in. Mankind, Mick Foley. Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, he's always been. He seems like a I
Yeah.
think he had bad takes about the Vince stuff. He was like, oh well, you know, it just was the business back in the day. Like,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, whatever, dude. I'm more. I like in Beyond the Mat the way it was edited, and I'd like to know if it was real or not. It's not I'd ever ask him in a panel or anything. I'd have to ask him like, "Hey, I'm a nobody with no media, no nothing. Like, do you really hate Dwayne?" Because the way they cut in that Beyond the Mat, he's like, "I will never let him have liberties in my body."
Yeah.
Like that again, and I believe it. I believe that Dwayne's a piece of shit. Like anybody who's a super face like that, they're always garbage. They're always trash.
Well, he's now The Rock is going to be at fucking WrestleMania this year too.
Of course, because that's what everybody wanted.
Well, it's going to be like it's what the fans wanted was like Roman versus Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
But now, because it like went that way, The Rock is like teaming with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So like they're just heels now.
Yeah, they're heels, which is good. That's what
Yeah.
it should be. I mean,
Yeah.
Rock was always a better heel. But anyway,
All right,
you want to
let's
talk about TikTok?
All right, hold on. Let me.
I hope you recorded that. I'm gonna put it on Twitch. I'm gonna put
It is on Twitch already.
Oh,
Already on
nice. But I'm gonna put it on YouTube somewhere. I don't know.
We're on YouTube and on Twitch. I guess I'll just look at the mark and just cut from there for the radio.
It don't matter. I can just edit it myself. You ain't gotta do it.
Already. Otherwise, we could have used what we were doing already. But
I know, right?
anyway, good morning, comrades. You are listening to WHIV LP New Orleans 102.3. This is Good Morning, Comrade. We have Jeff and Robert on the show. Robert,
We just
What's
did a
poppin'
40-minute
now?
talk about pro wrestling.
Yeah, we were.
that
Yeah,
we
had a
didn't
little
torture
break,
you
so,
with because
you
we
can go
know.
check out twitch.tv/Good Morning Comrade Radio or youtube.com/Good Morning Comrade. We've actually been putting up a little bit more videos of our past couple shows. Just kind of experimenting with the live streaming like we
Me
used to do
pretending
back
to be a
in the day.
fascist and
A lot. If you
Helldivers
remember,
too.
I used to do it. I mean, if people don't remember, I used to do a daily live stream
Yeah,
for
I
like
remember.
when COVID happened, and
It's
I was
rough.
like working from home. I would just like wake up extra early because I didn't have to like get up and go to work. I did like an hour news show, and then like I would just do work stuff. So like that was like the rhythm back in the day, and that was pretty fun. I
Very
couldn't
nice.
do it again for reasons like because like I'm working now
You have a life.
all the time reasons. But like that was a fun little like it actually kept me up with the news, but also I kind of got sick of the news for a while, if you know what I mean.
Exactly, I know what you mean. It's hard to ingest all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even think like if this was our job, I don't even know if I wonder how fast I'd probably burn out so fast.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like it's too much to absorb. That's why we just had a 40-minute talk about pro wrestling off the air because it's just nice to talk about something else, anything else.
Yeah.
I'm
Turn
going
that
to. What's that?
Turn that mic toward you.
Oh, sorry. Like that?
Like
How
directly
about that?
toward you. Yeah.
Hold on. I can't really turn it. I have to turn my head. I can't really turn it anymore.
Perfect. Much better. All right.
Okay, cool. But I'm gonna be. This is the first time I think you've heard of this. I'm gonna be out of the country in next Saturday until the 6th.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Norway.
Oh.
I'm going to flying into Heathrow, then going to Holland, going to Amsterdam, and then going to Norway. Gonna visit the Sami people, which are the indigenous people of Norway, who are also like all in for Palestine. They're like Al Jazeera did a really good. They did a really good article about who are the Sami and why do they love Palestinians so much. It's because they were also pushed to the margins. And it's really cool to kind of, I don't know, I'm not an anthropologist, but it's really cool to like look at them aesthetically as a people because they look like white Caucasian Native Americans is the best way to describe it. So if you took like Native American features and then they were just white. And you could tell they were just the people who, instead of going across the Bering Strait, they just went the opposite way. Because you see, like, you ever seen? Because like, okay, so you ever seen like Russian videos from like the Russian backcountry, like not like Europe, like Asia, Russia, and you could tell like, oh, I'm Russian, I live in Russia. It's like, bro, you are 3/4 Chinese, because that's just how the gradation of genetics goes, right?
You're the step Russian.
Yeah. So like you look at these people and they're like they're from Norway, but they don't look like they don't look Norwegian. Yeah. They look way more Asian than Norwegian. I know I'm probably saying that all wrong, but I hope that everybody knows what I'm getting at. It's just like they're just like really cool to see another indigenous culture that has survived, and they herd reindeer and they have their own land, and they're all like, they're just cool. And I'm looking forward to petting a sled dog and petting a reindeer. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I think like later this year I might be going to Scotland for a little while.
Oh,
Maybe like
wow.
different parts of the British Isles.
Wow.
We'll try and hit Ireland. I don't know if there'll be enough time, but like Kimberly's going for a convention for work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna try and like get out up there and have a little fun.
Well, if you go to Ireland, make sure to take the Black Cab tour. Book one of those. It's just a cabbie drives you around Northern Ireland. I mean, Southern Ireland, like Republic, like Ireland is cool, but like Northern Ireland is cooler. I don't know. Make sure you go to Belfast.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have questions, holler at me, and I will tell you like where to go. It's really cool.
Totally.
But
So yeah, man. What are we gonna do if they ban TikTok, man? Like that's like kind of weird. I mean, like I guess it's not gonna affect us as like this show or like how we promote ourselves. Obviously, like we try to do it, but like I mean, you know what's on TikTok now? I mean, like there's actually it's actually like outside of like all the kind of crazy stuff that you see, like, you know, a million billion different like thirst trap videos or whatever, and like, you know, some guy talking about, you know, like some politics thing while like Subway Surfers is on the other half of the screen or whatever.
Yeah.
Or but like then you also have like actual like media and kids like talking about Palestine, and that's like media that's not controlled by United States State Department. You know what I mean? It's like the only one, because it's like according to this bill that they're like running through that just passed the House as of
passed the House. It's not banned yet because it's got to go through the Senate. But Sleepy Joe already said he's going to sign it if it goes through the Senate.
But like part of the reason is too, like literally the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt literally was caught on video like saying that we have a TikTok problem, and like was talking about how like they needed to like basically just clamp down on that stuff.
Can you yeah, I know what you're talking about. Can you go into that a little bit more before I give my thoughts on it?
Let's talk about the bill first, and then I'll pull up the clip.
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
So I guess right here, House passes bill that could lead to a TikTok ban if Chinese owner refuses to sell. So they're literally turning it into Cold War stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is from the Associated Press, Dateline, the 13th. The House on Wednesday, the United States House, passed a bill that would lead to the nationwide ban of the popular video app TikTok if its China-based owner doesn't sell its stake, as lawmakers acted on concerns that the company's current ownership structure is a national security threat. Now, that part already is like, it's BS, but like, if you are a State Department person, or if you're just like, you know, one of these NatSec freaks, like, it's not BS to you, because you're not necessarily even worried about national security. You're worried about control of information, right? And part of the problem with TikTok is that the fact that it is like partially run by like Chinese investors, essentially. It's like less beholden to those you know, like Facebook and, you know, Meta. And also, don't let like Elon Musk lie to you. Like, he bends the knee and he licks the boots probably more than any of them. He just tries to pretend that he doesn't. But like, and I'm not even like trying to make a case that like TikTok is the revolution or anything like that. But like the idea that you know they can just sort of like wipe out one of these, like an entire social media platform, in part because it's like funded by foreign investors, is crazy. Here is an audio recording of, again, I think read back from the ADL. This is the real issue, because they say they have a major TikTok problem, and part of that is because people on, like, there's a lot of people on TikTok who are like literally just posting Free Palestine stuff and video of what's actually happening in the genocide up there. So just listen up.
But I also want to point out that we have a major generational problem. All the polling I've seen, ADL's polling, ICC's polling, independent polling, suggests this is not a left-right gap, folks. The issue in the United States in support for Israel is not left and right. It is young and old. And the numbers of young people who think that Hamas's, massacre was justified is shockingly and terrifyingly high. And so we really have.
So again, this is like the thing that always seems to happen when it comes to Gaza, by the way. I just wanted to like pause it really quick, because when it comes to Gaza, they always like roll back to October 7th, and they don't talk about like all of the violence that has happened both before and after October 7th. So like the years of occupiers, settlers rather, occupying parts of the West Bank and actually pushing Gaza back to what it is now, until they stop. Like that part is invisible, but like what happened on October 7th, even if you think that violence is not justified or whatever, like it's not the only violence that has ever happened. And in fact, what even if you give the Israeli propaganda the full benefit of the doubt, like there was like 1,200 impacted or killed Israelis. Okay, fine. Even if you just grant that, um, which I don't, but like even if you did, like there's been 30,000 people killed in Palestine and Gaza since October 7th. So I mean, like, you want to talk about violence and who's done the violence? Like, boom, there you go. I mean, like that's definitely Israel.
So I'm going to be a little bit more reactionary, and I don't think I don't think the impetus to ban TikTok has that much to do with us doing the bidding of AIPAC and Israel for once. Go ahead. Oh, I didn't know it wasn't.
There's more.
All right.
Shockingly and terrifyingly high. And so we really have a TikTok problem, a Gen Z problem, that our community needs to put the same brains that gave us Taglit, the same brains that gave us all these other amazing innovations, need to put our energy toward this, like, fast. Because again, like
the thing we need to put all of our energy and our brains towards is stopping TikTok, is what Jonathan Greenblatt is saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make that very clear.
Chasing this left-right divide, it's the wrong game. The real game is the next generation, and the Hamas and their accomplices, the useful idiots in the West, are falling in line in ways that are terrifying. Last thing I'll just say, we saw a dramatic change in the language of the activists here in America on October the 8th.
This part is wild. This part is truly wild, by the way.
Which are groups that we've long tracked who've long been problematic.
Listen to the groups that he identifies as who are the problem here.
Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voices for Peace. They flipped like this and went to like Iranian propaganda. The language I could show you from their toolkits, because our analysts are in their group.
They're literally just saying that any sort of like end the genocide that is taking place in Palestine right now is Iranian propaganda. Which, by the way, if you want to like boost up Iran, you know what a good way to do that is to kill 30,000 Palestinians and then say anybody who's mad about that is doing Iranian propaganda. So that makes Iran look great.
Yeah, it might be, but so if I was to buy, 100%, this is Jewish Voices for Peace, which I'm a member of. Okay, you've convinced me. It's all I'm doing the bidding of Tehran. Great. That doesn't mean the genocide's not happening. It's the same thing where I used to say about Russia Today, where people be like, that's Russian propaganda. I'm like, yeah, but when they talk about America, that doesn't make it wrong. So it's like, yeah, so who cares, though? You're just trying to invent a boogeyman.
Yeah, there's a little bit more.
October the 8th, it was that fast. Like, the language in their toolkits was all about the Zionist entity. And
it's always been, by the way, about like the Zionist entity, the settler colonial project. Like, that's pretty common language for like anti-Zionist struggle, and it's used by a lot of Jews. Groups like Jewish Voice for Peace, like literally.
Right.
That we recognized from Iranian propaganda.
So there you go.
Don't you mean Iranian-backed Jewish Voices for Peace?
Yeah.
Don't you mean that?
But
Hamas Health Administration.
So you were saying that you're thinking that this is not. So do you think it's not at all motivated by?
That's a bonus. This is a bonus.
So here's my take on it, and you can sort of respond if you'd like. But like my take is on it is I think you're right that like they would try and ban TikTok like if they could like as soon as TikTok started. Mm-hmm. Right, as soon as TikTok became significant, they would ban it because they think they do think it's something that they can't control. But now, because they're literally like AIPAC and ADL like fund their like a lot of Democrats, specifically Democrats, but also Republicans, electoral campaigns. they now have a weight pushing them towards doing it as soon as possible. And that's sort of like where I'm at when it comes to like why this is being pushed right now. And you see people like Nancy Pelosi and like all of the essentially the ADL backed Democrats like pushing like super hard for this. I just saw a clip a minute ago of, I wish I could find it. God, here it is. Nancy Pelosi right here, being cringe as hell, talking about this. Hold on.
This
Ready?
is not an attempt to ban TikTok. It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe. A winner. A winner.
Pokemon, go to the polls.
Go to the poll. Like if you're like trying to show how like disconnected from actual people you really are, you're doing a great job, Sweaty. But like,
Oh my God, dude. This country's done.
Yeah, we're so good, man.
So, I'm gonna circle back before I get into the banning thing. Like everything that guy from the ADL is saying that's who it was, right? The ADL, I can't remember.
It was Jonathan Greenblatt from the ADL.
Okay, everything he's saying is correct. But you just take away the bombastic language of how they are terrified of any kind of information distribution that they can't control, and then they know they've lost. We are the outliers, like as far as age goes, of people who are want a free Palestinian state and don't want Palestinians to be wiped off the face of the earth.
Line. 40 is
Yeah, we're the outlier. But
when my birthday hits later this year, maybe I'll be anti-Palestine. Maybe I'll be.
There you go. But yeah, they know they know this thing's about over, but they don't know how to transition into something else. But yeah, so. But going back to what I was saying, it's not a. This isn't the main driver. The main driver is that China has the people who actually donate, the lobbyists, the tech lobby, big tech, whatever you want to call it, have that donate to the left and the right. Well, we don't have a left and a right, but the Republicans and the Democrats in this country.
And what the mainstream describes as left and right.
Yeah, so this is to protect Google and Facebook. This is not
and Twitter. Like,
and Twitter. Yeah, absolutely. This is to protect them.
Elon Musk wants Big Daddy government to come in and save his poor small bean Twitter that he like is constantly losing money on.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that's gotten out of hand is if you want to have a discussion about being anti-TikTok, that's a discussion to be had because there are a lot of issues with TikTok, and TikTok is a social media app that everyone's using right now, but it's the same issues with anything Meta or Google are putting out, or especially Twitter's a dumpster fire. It's just a place, it's a Nazi clubhouse after Musk bought it. It's the idea of how the TikTok that reaches that the Chinese government allows is completely different than ours, and they would never let the content that gets uploaded, shares, and goes viral here to be uploaded, shared, and go viral in China. So so there's a question there of like why that is.
China does like impingement on civil liberties for Chinese. For the Chinese, this is part of the it's part of the Cold War, sure, but like it's also, I mean, again, if America is supposed to have like the free exchange of ideas or whatever, and like freedom of speech and like not supposed to do censorship, the things that Elon Musk always talks about being like the most important things in the world, then you kind of have to, like, you're going to create controversy when the government that's supposed to be upholding those values and upholding those rights, like, just decides, you know what, screw that, we actually was kidding, we didn't mean it.
What I'm saying is there is a discussion to be had about a device that's in your pocket that is tuned in to someone's, let's say potential mental illness, and will feed into that and will just let you go down a rabbit hole of like your worst impulses. There's a discussion to be. What's that?
That's not the argument being made, though.
No, not at all. But I'm saying that is the discussion that should be being had. But it's not. It's not being had at all. And also, if you think, and going back to my thing of, the TikTok in China is completely different than the TikTok that goes out to the rest of the world. If you think that this isn't, I won't say call it a psyop, but if you think this isn't again, what's the word I'm looking for? A happy accident for the Chinese government to, to let people wallow in whatever delusions or mental illness they might have and go down TikTok rabbit holes and kind of rot a society from the inside out. If you think the Chinese government isn't pro that, then, this is just the new age. You're crazy, because this is just the new age voice of America is what it is. It's the same stuff that the CIA and we have had going on in every country that's our enemy, our air quote enemy for forever. And I say VOA, Voice of America, is a radio station that's in all these countries that pumps out American propaganda. The Chinese government's just better at it than us, and that's one of the reasons why they want to have it shut down.
Yeah, I guess my point is I don't care.
No, you're right, 100%. I don't care at all. I don't care. But like, if you want to have a good faith discussion about, like, if you want to bring in psychologists and be like, what is TikTok doing to people's brains? Like, that's a discussion that needs to be had. But when you fly the guy in from Singapore, I don't know what his position is. I just saw the clip of it, and you're questioning him about, are you a Chinese citizen? Have you ever had dealings with the Chinese government? The most racist, the most like McCarthy era garbage. I can't believe I'm seeing this in my lifetime. We're just right back to McCarthy. This is embarrassing, racist, and it gets us nowhere. That's not the discussion that needs to be had. This is all stupid. And the thing I know has been said somewhere, I just haven't seen it yet because I'm not that smart. Have any of these people who are sitting up in DC saying, yeah, we need a TikTok ban, has any of their staffers illuminated to them what a VPN is? Like, yeah, what? Like, you gonna ban it? Okay, well, my location is now China. Well, no, it wouldn't be China. My location is now Europe. Because if I'm in China, I'm not going to be able to see, these crazy like self-harm TikToks that are going around. But yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's like, this is the biggest dog and pony show garbage of all time, when we're literally funding a genocide, and this is the thing like my government expects me to care about.
Well, they don't understand it at all. I mean, they have states right now, like states, Virginia and Louisiana actually are both one of them, that have like made it so that you have to use your driver's license to register for porn sites or whatever. And like these MFers don't know what a VPN is, do they? Like, no. Literally all you need to do is be like, I'm not in Louisiana, I'm in Atlanta. Whatever.
No, it's absurd. It's absurd how dumb, and it goes back to what we're saying, like, why the idea that Feinstein was able to hold on to power as long as she did, that Joe Biden has the potential, Joe Biden or Donald Trump has the potential, one of these people are going to be, the next president in the United States. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Like, you it's not even an age thing. Like, you're obviously not plugged in. Like, you're just not plugged in. And I don't think this thing about age right now of like Joe Biden's too old and Bernie was too old and Trump's too old. I honestly don't think, like, by the time we get dirt old, I don't think the way our society is, I don't think it's going to be the same. I think like a mentally sharp 80-year-old will be able to be an effective president, congressperson, whatever. And somebody from our generation will be locked in. And that's not just like a hopeful thing. I just think that I tell people all the time, I don't think I'm going to be old. And what I mean by that is, if I do make it to old age, I don't think, like, if a kid's telling me like, yeah, we got the blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh yeah, that was like Fortnite. Oh yeah, that was like TikTok. It was just like all these systems are built on one another. The kind of the dividing line is the internet. I know this is like a broader theory now, but I'm saying, like, is like the invention of the telephone, then the internet, and now everything kind of runs through that, to where I think about my grandfather who grew up. He was one generation away from, his grandparents were slaves. Not one generation, but his grandparents were slaves. There were no airplanes, no telephone. Then the telephone's invented. No computers. Then like the personal computers invented. Then people are flying around. Then, on airplanes. He's in World War II, and it's like all the stuff that he saw. He literally saw the earth, culture, civilization change so drastically by the end of his life. He didn't know what was going on, but I don't think we're going to be like that.
You never know, man. There might be another industrial revolution, but
that's what it would have to be. That's what that's what we're talking about.
We've actually kind of lived through that in terms of communications, like a communications revolution when it came to a lot more digital things, like the rise of the internet. Because, when I was in like middle school, high school, that's when the internet's becoming a thing, and you're like, instead of using paper dictionaries or whatever, you're using online sources to write your research papers or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of grew up in the middle of that change, and like the people that still make the rules because they didn't become adults until long after that was already established. That came established like long after their brain had just sort of like metastasized to the point where it can't, like, it's not flexible no more.
Mm-hmm.
Then it came up. Like Dianne Feinstein's a perfect example because she died at what, like 90, 93 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like what she was, what, 70 something, 60 something in like 1993 when the internet was like becoming a thing. So it's just like one of these sorts of. In one respect, it's almost like impossible for you to expect somebody to like change their entire understanding of something like that when they're old. But like also at the same time, if they can't do that, then why are they running everything in the world? Why are they in charge of it? You know what I mean?
Right. I guess. Okay. So do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. So
yeah.
I'm 42. I'm 8 years away from 50 years old. That's crazy to imagine. Half a century, right? And after we get off this call, I'm going to play video games and stream them over the internet.
Yeah.
That's not an old person's game. You see what I mean?
What we think of as old is not that. What young people think of as old is probably not that specifically. But there's something. And it's not even necessarily totally cultural. Well, I guess maybe it is, but it's like technological or just the way that we talk to one another or whatever. But there is something where somebody who is 22 or whatever will be like, "Oh man, that dude's streaming on Twitch or whatever. Something about him is old." I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm old. I'm old right now. What I'm saying is I understand how these things work. It's like even things that I don't use Instagram, right? Like that. I'm like, what? Y'all are messaging each other on Instagram, on the IG and the gram and all that. I don't use it because I'm too old for that. But I understand it. Like it's not, there was no it's not, I had to go run a message 3 miles up the road to telephone.
Yeah. You can order that on you have an app deliver it for you now.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the way the technologies are built on. Now, what you're saying is correct. There could be a completely new, something completely revolutionary that we don't see. But as far as like everything that's like, wow, that's crazy. Like AI. Okay, AI is changing and getting better by the day. But it's still tapping in. When I go to ChatGPT and I say do a thing, it's taking the way it's taking its quote unquote knowledge, it's drawing it from the internet. So it's taking a Google search and putting it into something tangible, a picture, a script, something like that. To where I can't tell Google to do that, but I can tell an AI to do that, and an AI will go to Google and then pull that information and make what I want. So all these technologies are one built on top of another. It's not like there was no thing. It's not there was no movie theater And then all of a sudden there's movies. And then after that there's talkies. And then after that they're in color. But it's still a movie.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. And the breakthrough, I think that might happen. It might be just something that we don't understand. But I don't see it. Like, it might actually might not even happen in our lifetime. Like, but there is a very clear, like, bright delineation between, like, people who understand the internet and like how it works and like the technological advances and communication advances that have happened since 1993 or whatever, and then the people who literally are just like, I'm not going to text even.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think I'm being a little too. I think I'm looking at it through Robert colored glasses.
Well, it's age correlated, but like, and it's like, it's obviously the line, the brightness of the line is not so much like everybody over 60 or whatever just doesn't understand the internet, but like some people and a lot of people just are just like, well, that's new and seems hard, so I'm just not going to mess with it. You listen to WHLP New Orleans 102.3. This is Good Morning Comrade, goodmorningcomrade.com. We're talking about the TikTok ban, I guess, but like we're kind of like moving into a broader conversation about like the way communication works and like the way that like cutting off TikTok would be bad for sure. And I mean, it's motivated by like the government controlling it. That's also another thing too. Like there's a lot of young people these days that think of like the way that the government works and exists as completely irredeemable. And like while there's still like a whole bunch of like boomers and Gen Xers and even some millennials who seem to think that like, I mean, I would include myself in this, like, it needs to be addressed to actually change it. But a lot of like younger people are just like, screw that, we want to do something else. And I think at some point there's going to be a reckoning where faith in the older institutions is going to fall away, and they're going to have to either adapt or die. You know what I mean? Like,
but I feel like there's a different conversation. It's one that scares me because it's
going to happen. I mean, whether or not it scares you, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
Like, it's just coming.
It's what you always say: the center can't hold, and people are going to go one way or the other. They're going to go it's socialism or fascism.
Yeah, but like that's sort of like another one too, and like I think that, I mean, my sort of approach from if you want to have a world that is in alignment with what you want to see going forward, you need to sort of seize power now and sort of move that the world into the newer vision that connects the old with the new and sort of like generate that synthesis. But like, you can't do that by yourself. You need to organize people to do it, and that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of phone calls, a lot of meetings, a lot of stuff that's not fun. A lot of time that you'll be spending playing video games. I mean, I love playing Street Fighter 6. I love playing Guilty Gear Strive. I love playing Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney and all that series and all that other stuff. And like, I'm definitely not going to stop doing that. But like, and honestly, like with the way that like, I guess like online footprints have increased, and like people building communities like around their freaking Twitch streams or whatever, and the way that that's a way of socialization. It's parasocial, but like you can essentially like you look at somebody like Hassan Piker, he has a line to a generation that is younger than him that essentially he is communicating to. He's talking about how the world is now, not necessarily how he wants the world to be. And he engages with, I mean, I think I'm not a person that's like, I agree with Hassan and everything, but I generally think Hassan's good. And I think that like, the way that he is like been able to sort of like build up a community that, that he can at least explain how the world works, and then sort of like say, this is how power works. You have a group of people who can actually potentially understand it. And this dude gets like 30,000 people in his chat every day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you convinced me because I was looking at. Yeah, you're right. You convinced me. I'm looking at it through like Robert colored glasses, and I just have to remember how much of a freak I am. Like,
everybody's a freak.
Well, no, what I mean is I'm just not a normie. I'm not, it's like, I think about guys at, my job and like the stuff they're into and the stuff they do. And they're just, it's like we're living in two different realities.
Yeah. Even if I got people that are younger than me that like don't even do anything that's like cool or whatever. I mean, it's just what it is. It's not even necessarily an age thing.
No, it's absolutely not.
I mean, it's not absolutely not. I mean, age is correlated to it, but it definitely is like something that, like, it gets harder to engage with something that's new the older you get. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I do, but I just don't think. I think there'll be more people engaging. More things will just become standard cultural things than our parents and grandparents.
Yeah.
I'll
give you another example. I mean, the way that people think about like sexuality and gender now is so profoundly, significantly different. Like the way I think about it, because a lot of different sort of perspectives and even dare I say the word identities of people who have these different more trans people are visible, more non-binary people are visible. Before the show, we were talking about transgender wrestlers and how it's like, there's a lot of like trans and non-binary wrestlers. It's like a whole community and they come together. And like the thing that brings them together is it's not necessarily, it's not a class analysis of, capital or whatever. I mean, some people in part of that do that and they and that's pretty cool as well. But like there are communities of this, which is not new. I mean, there's been gay bars and gay communities and like gay neighborhoods since forever. But like the fact that it is now cracked through the mainstream, like, and that's why you're getting a lot of this backlash and a lot of these, like, I mean, quite frankly, either old or like really religious, or let's be quite frank, just cynical people who have just decided that their way to get famous and make money, or either make money or get power or both, is to just be like appeal to old people who just hate gay people, hate trans people, hate non-binary people. That actually like placifies those communities. But the fact that they have broken through to the mainstream, the toothpaste out the tube, and they ain't no going back. That's for sure.
It's amazing. Like, speak on that. It's just like, the thing, I guess I am old and I will not understand. I don't understand people who are just like, we call them bigots, transphobes, homophobes, racists, whatever. But I just don't understand the mental capacity. Not capacity is the wrong word. Just the viewpoint of somebody who's like, aren't you interested in people who aren't like you? Like, why is that not interesting?
They're scared of them, and part of the reason that they're scared of them is because it's different than them. One, and like most things that are different from you scare you at least a little bit. Sure, fine, whatever. But like, there's also again a lot of social sort of like people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and a lot of these old freaks as well, who have just decided to like, oh, these trans people, and they obviously are lying. Trans people, they're not putting litter boxes in freaking cat bad like or whatever, and they're not like the gays and the trans and the NBs and the LGBTs are not gonna like either trans or like harm your kids or whatever. It's like they're just they're doing everything that they can. These reactionaries, they're doing everything that they can to make people scared, and people just are responding to that appropriately, which is be scared.
It's just like, I don't know. It's like you get one go at this thing. Like, you don't get to go back, and it's like, why wouldn't you want to experience? I'm not saying go out and like, I'm a straight cis guy. Like, I'm not gonna be queer or trans anytime soon, but it's just like, why am I not? Why
would you hate trans people? Like,
one of my favorite sources of before I go to bed, like, it's become kind of a ritual. I drink a glass of water and I watch I watch Trixie Mattel and I watch Katya, two famous drag queens on YouTube with their little podcasty thing, and it's like it's interesting to hear a perspective that's not mine, and be like, oh, that's interesting. How do you deal with that? Like, it's like, so why you'd want to be like, well, this is the way everybody should live, and I want everybody to be just as boring as I am. It's like, what? Like, bruh, like, not to get too woo-woo, but, like, the tapestry of life, like, why don't you want to experience that? And, I don't know, I've had this conversation with my wife, too, and I think, for me personally, I think a little bit of it has to do, like, being biracial, so I feel like I don't have a home anywhere, but there's something beautiful in that because I don't have, like, a home, I don't feel at home anywhere, so everywhere's my home. It's like, oh, I'm out of place everywhere, so it's fine. It's like, it's no difference between being here or there. I'm going to stand out.
Yeah,
I don't know. People who are just boring, I don't get it, bro.
Look, man, I mean, like, the island of misfit toys comes together for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. And the fact that is, again, specifically right now on sexuality and gender is becoming more and more mainstream it's obviously a good thing, just because people of those identities are being, well, they're being accepted more, but, like, unfortunately simultaneously they're being attacked more, which is just sort of like the double-edged sword of the whole thing, I guess. Like, if you had it, I bet you, I don't want to speak for people in these communities, but, like, if you ask them, hey, would you want to go back to the way things were 30 years ago, I imagine not that many of them would say, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Well, no, yeah,
even with these maniacs trying to make like teachers just, like, expose children, like expose children's actual gender or whatever, and, like, all these other things, like, which are horrible. They're absolutely horrible, and I'm not trying to say, like, everything's peaches and whatever right now, but I mean, I would imagine if and the trans people are absolutely under attack right now for sure, but, like, the way that they were treated in society is essentially an invisible non-entity of freaks that needed to be eradicated. Like, that is essentially, there's actually somebody pushing back against that in the mainstream now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It goes, like, oh, people ask you, and I'm always the guy that ruins every party. Like, oh, you must be fun at parties because I ruin everything. People go, oh, if you could go back in time, like, where would you want to go? Who would you want to meet? And I'm like, do I get to be white?
Yeah.
Because if I don't get to be white, I ain't going nowhere.
You ain't going that far back, at least.
Yeah. How about that? I'm right here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But just like, but yeah, there is a connection, and I guess maybe this is the sort of, like, thread. There is a connection between, like, and I hate to be like it's the olds about the whole thing, but, like, the people that are like that are crying and whining and saying, like, tic-tac-toe, we need to change TikTok or whatever. They're the ones that, they're the same age cohort for the most part as the people who are. I mean, it's a little bit different, I guess, because of the information flow thing. But there's not I bet you if you had, maybe this is speculative, but, like, Nancy Pelosi, like, was in conversation with a trans person, however, she'd be squicked out. Yeah.
Sure. No, absolutely. No, they would be. Mm-hmm. Liberals suck. Liberals are the worst. I don't know how else I can. Liberals. I was duking it out online with one of your Facebook friends. They were acting crazy, and I was just like, I'm like, you're worse than a conservative. You're worse than a Trumper, because with a Trumper, there is a possibility that they're just ignorant and they don't know any better. And if you present them with, not even facts and figures, you, as Ben Burgers would say, give them an argument, then that will change their mind. There's a chance, slim as it is. A liberal, you know better. You know better, and you choose to be trash. So I have no patience for you're worse. Like Malcolm X said, the racist is the wolf. I hear him coming. He comes in packs. He's howling. He comes right at you. No problem. I can deal with that. He goes, but the liberal's a fox. They come at you smiling. They come at you grinning, and then they stab you, and then they ask you, why are you bleeding?
So you're listening to WHIV LP New Orleans 102.3. This is Good Morning Comrade. Now we're talking about liberals.
Trash. Take them out with the trash.
It's like the old "Love Me, I'm a Liberal" song, right?
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. It's exactly that. They're against every war except the current one, and every human rights and civil rights issue except the one that's going on right now. They're awful. I hate it. Yeah, I just they are truly my enemy. They are agents in the Matrix. They can become anyone. They will change shape at will. They have no real convictions. They're just slippery and slimy and just try to just use rhetoric to just deny your freedom for one more day. No, we're not doing that. I don't play with them. Not at all.
So I guess sort of like we have about 10 minutes left. What else we got? What else we got going on?
Did you see Meghan McCain get clowned real bad?
Tell me about it.
All right, let me see. I actually brought it up. Let me see.
Meghan McCain, huh? She's back.
Did she ever leave? Gross.
Like, who? By the way, American hero John McCain, who dropped how many fighter jets did he crash during Vietnam War?
I don't know. I'm not into the losers. Not at all. But yeah. So
I would have never gotten captured. John McCain got captured by the Vietnamese.
So I'm not into the Oscars. I think they're dumb. The only Oscars that I ever liked, I thought was cool, was the COVID Oscars, when they just had it in like a ballroom and it was like cozy. I'm like, they should just do this every year. So whoever the guy is, what's that?
Jonathan Glazer.
Yeah. He made the Holocaust movie. Mm-hmm. Well, and he gave a speech about a very tepid, almost, shall I say, liberal-esque monologue about, let's have peace and this and that. Like the most safest milquetoast thing. Let's have peace in the Middle East. That kind of thing.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
And people lost their mind. So Meghan McCain.
By the way, like saying peace in the Middle East, it's like a very 90s thing.
It's so 90s. Literally, when I said that, I thought of the what popped in my mind was the Family Matters episode where Urkel was saying that, trying to be cool. It's so 90s. I could literally I saw it it just popped right in front of my eyes. But so he gave a speech, like I said, this very like safe speech. And Meghan McCain decided to slander the man and say on Twitter, a lot of people in Hollywood showing their butts when a man gets on stage to refute his Jewishness, and half the room claps. It was so. What's that?
Let me play
okay.
the speech.
Oh, please go ahead.
Present.
So here's the speech, just to kind of get over just how sort of like tepid it is and how like not controversial. Here we go.
All our choices were made to reflect and confront us in the present, not to say, look what they did then, rather look what we do now. Our film shows where dehumanization leads at its worst. It shaped all of our past and present. Right now, we stand here as men.
Not specific at all about any of this stuff.
And who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent people.
So he mentions the occupation, which is good.
The victims of October whether the victims of October the 7th in Israel or the ongoing attack on Gaza, all are victims of this dehumanization. How do we resist? Alexandra Bistron Kaladziejczak the girl who glows in the film as she did in life, chose to. I dedicate this to her memory and her resistance. Thank you.
So that's basically a little bit both sides. He acknowledges the occupation. I'd give him like a 3.5, a solid 3.5 out of 5. You know what I mean? Like, that's not too bad, but it's like pretty like lib stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I was saying.
And you said Meghan McCain. Can you read Meghan McCain again?
Sure. A lot of people in Hollywood showing their butts when a man gets on stage to refute his Jewishness, and half the room claps. This was This is such a slander that even Twitter had to be like, community guidelines, quote, misleading. It says right under misleading, quote, quoted text is a small fragment of the original statement and misses important context. And then it prints his speech. But it's like, yeah, even Twitter, the Nazi hellscape that is Twitter, which is like, come on, Megan, that's too much. You're doing too much. You're doing too much heavy lifting for Israel.
Twitter's gone woke, man.
And the best retort I saw was I think it was Mehdi Hassan reposted a video, and it's just a supercut, a minute-long supercut of every time Nepo baby Meghan McCain just said, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father, my father. I haven't done anything. I came I came out of the right vagina, and now I have a career because of it. So my father, my father, my father, I have nothing to stand on that I have done on my own. Yeah,
she had the best maternal birthing person.
Oh, absolutely. She's such trash. And I feel like I've told you this before. There was a time maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago where I thought like Meghan McCain was the most dangerous conservative on earth. No. Because she was like trying to be cool and she was being hip. And I was like,
hang out with Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks. Remember that?
That's another trashy lib. That's another one.
Speaking of the birthing person thing.
This person mumbled at her once in L.A. Oh, my goodness, we got to change everything. Yeah, now she just takes out it's a war on the trans and the poor, and Anna Kasparian is at the front of the vanguard.
That's some love me, I'm a liberal stuff. Right?
Yeah, that's I'm so excited to be politically on the same side as garbage people like that. It's awful.
Well, I guess you're not voting for Jank.
I don't. No, I even if I could, let's say it did matter.
It's good on Palestine, at least.
Let's say it did matter. He all right. I feel like Cenk Uygur was a stepping stone
He's
for me.
Old.
He was Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks were a stepping stone for me from liberalism to being a leftist. And I blow him a kiss and wave goodbye. There's a picture of me and him. Like, I got a picture with him, and I saw him in a Cincinnati casino, and I got a picture with him that just popped up. Yeah, it just popped up on my YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, my Facebook, and was like, oh.
Let me have a picture.
I will. I'll send it to you. I look the same. But yeah, it's a terrible world out there. Trust no liberal. They've always got your worst. They've got your worst, not opinion. I can't think of what I'm trying to say.
It's like the old Patrick Stewart as
Run
never trust liberals, they'll betray you thing.
No,
you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I have, and they will 100%. Like every time, like historically, World War II, like Hitler rose to power because of liberals, because of the Weimar Republic. Like they're bad. They're really bad. They say they're with you until there's some kind of if they even think that your liberation is going to materially change their life in any way, then they jump ship and they go right to fascism. Yeah. Every time.
Straight. That's who
straight no chaser. Yeah.
Really. I mean, and again, I hate to be too kind of loosey-goosey feeling with some of this stuff, but when even you see the Biden administration, when it becomes a problem for him as president, the idea of immigrants or whatever, he's like, oh no, we got to do all of the stuff Trump said for immigration. All the exact same stuff.
Again, like, yeah. So how you gonna tell me that? Oh, I gotta go save democracy and vote for Joe Biden, or what? We're gonna have draconian immigration policies, or what? We're gonna do a genocide on brown people, or what? Or we have to protect Roe versus Wade? Tell me exactly why.
Always said that Trump will do work, which is true.
What is Joe Biden defending again? I don't know.
But like, not that true. You know what I mean?
No, it's not.
Not that true.
It's not. It's not at all. And I don't know what to do about it.
Don't trust the liberals.
Don't
That's
trust
all
the
you have to do.
liberals,
Don't trust
for
the
sure.
liberals. They'll betray you. Well, thank you so much, Robert. We'll do it next week. We might have to do a little bit of freaky deaky scheduling stuff when it comes to you being out of the country, but we should get that figured out maybe on the front end. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening to Good Morning Comrade, and we love you. Anything to say on the way out, Robert?
Nah. See you next time.
Shout out to Bull Nakano for getting in the WWE Hall of Fame. We love you. Bye-bye.
Especially Bull Nakano.